weigh-ins that we've got going on tonight. Tried to shoot it last night. We actually sat down for about 45 minutes and had a lot of terrible technical difficulties. So we're doing it a day late and late hours of the night, but we wanted to sit down. I'm Jordan. We got Matthew Wells, one of our writers, and the guy, I don't even say his name, the Joker over there, Cody Bradley.
Okay.
He's frozen. No, there he is. Okay. All right, so no one will ever get to see our terrible conversation we had last night. So I guess one thing I was interested in, right as we were getting off, Matt, you said something about what was the fight you're really looking forward to see for the card tomorrow night in Boston?
Boston Strong, Rosa versus Soriano.
That's an interesting fight. What's got you so excited for it?
The thing that's got me excited for that one is if you saw his last fight with Dennis Siver, which was his last fight, that fight was amazing. The grappling exchanges that happened on the ground, it was just intense the whole way through. Of course, Siver ended up winning the fight, but it was an incredible fight to watch.
Yeah, that that was a good fight, and I just read up on him today. He's got a really interesting backstory too. Like, used to kind of run around with the wrong crowd, got in some trouble, and then like he became a chef and mixed martial artist, and now he's a really top level guy, and that will be an awesome fight. I really like Soriano a lot too. His fight against Chaz Skelly was one of the most infuriating fights because I mean, like Soriano was trying everything he could to keep the fight on the ground, like standing, and Skelly just, I mean, he was exhausted and just taking him down and ended up grinding out a decision. But yeah, I think that will be a good fight. Do you have any opinions on that, Cody?
Which fight are we talking about?
Soriano and Charles Rosa.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar enough with them, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, it's I think it's the first fight on the prelim card on Fox Sports 1. So that is a good fight. So I mean, everyone's talked about this. Siver's a huge dog. Conor's a gigantic favorite. Do you think, Cody, that it's going to go down like Conor said? He's going to blast through him in 2 minutes?
2 minutes? Nah, I don't think that's accurate. I think what his coach said to Ariel Awani on the MMA Hour was a little bit more accurate. He said, honestly, I can't see it getting past the first exchange. So that's kind of how I see it going down.
Yeah.
Spinning back kick. He's going to use his own move to knock him out in the first 10 seconds. Get ready for that.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, I think people aren't giving Dennis Siver enough credit. He's a veteran. He's been around for a while. He's had some quality wins. He's fought some tough guys in his weight classes. So I can see him beating him in the first round, but it's not going to be as much of a walkthrough as I think the consensus seems to be on the.
Yeah, the odds are crazy. If you're a betting man, it's kind of silly not to throw a couple bucks on Siver, man. He's such a huge dog right now. What about you, Matthew? Do you think it's just going to be a steamrolling?
If I'm being honest, I think it will. But here's the thing. I think Conor gets hit a little bit too much for my taste. He's got a crazy wild style. It's very entertaining to watch because he does take some shots in return. And I watched pretty much went back and watched Siver's last 4 or 5 fights. And one thing I noticed about him is that he'll take the one shot. He'll take the one shot. You know, he'll eat the one jab. He'll eat the one leg kick. But as soon as you come at him with a combination, he's instantly countering. So, and that's kind of Conor's thing. He'll get in. He'll throw the jab, and then he'll hit the 1-2, and every time Siver sees that combination coming, he's automatically tucking that chin and throwing hooks back at you. So that's the thing that kind of concerns me, is Conor going to get clipped with one of those.
Yeah, after watching the weigh-ins today, I mean, I still think Conor is going to win this just because I think Siver would have been a tougher opponent 4 or 5 years ago. I think he's on the tail end of his career right now, and he has been in some wars. And so I think Conor is just going to be too quick and too explosive for him. Not to discredit Siver at all, but I guess to credit Siver, I don't think Conor's trash talk and all his bullshit has gotten in Siver's head at all. I think he's handled it probably better than anybody Conor's fought before. Because at the weigh-ins, I don't know if you guys watched the weigh-ins at all today. You know, Conor did his thing. He got up in his face, acting like a wild man, and Siver just kind of looked like an assassin, just like all right, let's go. Maybe it's that you know, I think he's Russian, right? And he just fights and trains out of Germany. Maybe it's that Russian stuff. He looked like a killer, man. And like Conor had to resort to like slapping his hand away, you know, which honestly I thought came off kind of childish, but
right.
Yeah, but I mean, props to Siver. He's not letting Conor's trash talk get in his head. I still think Conor walks through Siver just because I think this is kind of a setup fight, a prop fight. You see these in boxing all the time. You know, kind of they want Conor to look good. They've put all their promotion behind Conor. They want him to look good. So I think it's what's planned.
I think Seaver's just not interested in all that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, can we get some fight night already? I want to be in a cage.
Right. I think honestly, this last week, Seaver's probably earned a lot more fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, he certainly has earned a lot more fans. I don't know if I would agree with you as far as his trying to get into his mind. I think people look way too much into, or a little bit too much into the whole pre-fight drama and the weigh-ins, their mannerisms, their body language, how their muscles in their face may or may not be tensed up. You never know what a man is thinking, so.
Yeah, that's very true. I guess to elaborate on that, though, what do you mean? Like you don't think that the mind games before a fight play into the fight at all?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think people read. You know, I think it's more about their emotions that people read too much into. You can't, like, as far as trying to think, oh, well, Siver was thinking this, or Conor was doing this, or Conor was trying to do this, or Siver was not affected. He was affected. Conor's trying to get into his head, or he's just kind of trying to make a show, make it entertaining for a show. You never really know what someone's doing. I think you can't read into their minds, but that's just me.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point.
Because people try to fake it at the same time. If you saw the recent video with Cowboy on how he talks about how he's leading up to a fight, when he's going, like, so imagine you didn't see that and he's not telling you what he's thinking every time he goes out to the cage. You might be thinking, oh, this dude looks like he's ready to kill somebody. But in actuality, that's just a front that he's putting on. In the meantime, he's having all sorts of doubts and negative thoughts going on in his head. And he's trying to know, whoa, how do I look right now? Am I supposed to look like this, like this? So I'm just saying I think people will try to read too much into one's mind, and it's too difficult to know.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess speaking of Cowboy, quick turnaround. I think he's on as much of a hot streak as anyone in mixed martial arts can be. What do you think about that fight, Mr. Wells?
I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with this fight because if both guys had a proper training camp, I would say this could be, fight of the night. I still think it is going to be fight of the night, but I could see things going wrong for Cowboy here, seeing as how Benson had a full training camp, and he's coming off of, what was it, 2 weeks? 2 weeks notice?
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks ago he had his last fight.
Yeah, so I mean, it's guys take fights on short notice all the time, but guys don't take short notice fights against Benson Henderson. So that's going to be crazy to see. And I'm a big fan of both of these guys, so it was pretty cool seeing them at the presser yesterday. You see they switched hats and everything like that. That was pretty fun. Did you
catch him at the weigh-in today at all?
I did not. I'm about to rewatch that. But.
Yeah, you'll have to watch it. It's really funny. They come out and Cowboy does like a fake crane kick towards him. Like it was funny. They hugged it out. They smiled. They're obviously good friends. There's no animosity there at all. So I like that. I dig that as a fight fan. I mean the big beefs are cool. Like Jones and DC. That was awesome. Two guys who don't like each other. But at the same time, I like when guys are genuinely courteous and nice towards each other and like each other. That I would rather watch that than a manufactured fake, beef that they cook up.
For sure. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't translate into the cage. If you remember Pat Barry and Mirko Cro Cop.
Yeah. I don't think we get another one of those just because these guys have fought before and they've gone out and beat each other up. But
sure.
I totally agree that does kind of ruin a fight if they go in there all sentimental, not wanting to hurt each other. So Cody, what about you, Henderson and Cerrone?
I don't think we're going to have a problem as as far as like a Pat Barry Crow Cop situation. Not that I'm necessarily against that. I really don't mind. I used to fight. Me and my friends when we first started getting interested in this sport, we used to fight each other in the backyard back in high school, like all the time. And during the fights, it would be, you'd slap hands during a good exchange or something, but you still go right back and punch the guy in the face. So.
Did you fight Kimbo?
Kimbo was there. Kimbo was there. He was a rep half the time.
Okay. All right.
He'd make a barbecue afterwards.
Yeah, Sean talks about how great Kimbo is at barbecuing, man. So you're a lucky man if you got to sample some of that sliced barbecue. So here's a fight that we didn't really get to talk about yesterday, but I wanted to bring up here because I think it's interesting. John Doomsday Howard and Lorenz Larkin transitioning down to 170, where he holds a victory over the champ. He beat Robbie Lawler in Strikeforce, so something to think about. That was at 185, obviously. But what do you guys think about this fight?
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good little scrap between two guys that like to throw very hard punches. But I could see this turning into a wrestling exchange. Grinding it out against the cage. I don't see this fight ending quickly. I'll just say that. I think it could be a grind between these two guys.
Cody, what do you think on this one, Cody? Is he gone? He's gone. Nobody knows. All right, so yeah, I completely agree with you. I think a lot of times we've seen that with two really strong strikers, it ends up turning into a wrestling match, a really tough grinding against the cage type match, which I think that will be that would be an advantage towards John Howard if that's what does happen, because he's got very underrated grappling. He's a good grappler. I do think if Larkin makes, I don't want to accuse him of not training hard, but it's just, a lot of times you see guys who don't train out of a bigger gym with top level training partners and guys to spar with. You never see them really climb through the ranks. I'd like to see Larkin move to a bigger camp because I think he trains out of like Riverside, a smaller, in his hometown in California, smaller gym. I don't know any of the guys there. I don't know any of the coaches. I'm sure they're phenomenal, but I'd like to see him move to being in Southern California like that. There are a ton of top level gyms down there.
For sure.
Alliance, AKA, anything like that. So I think he's got a ton of talent. He's obviously a super talented striker. 170, I think, is where he should have been fighting for a long time. So I think it'll be a great fight. And now that Cody's joined us, Cody, Lorenz Larkin, John Howard, what do you think?
Yeah, is this his 170 debut or did he recently
it is.
fight there?
Yes,
It is, okay. Remind me, what was John Howard's last fight?
John Howard had a close split decision loss to Brian Ebersol.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, I thought he actually won that fight, but it was close.
Yeah, right. I think I had it for him too. Regardless, I think Lawrence is. I think this is going to be Lawrence's night. It's kind of a tough one to call. Just stylistically, the way that they match up, it's not really. It's not an easy one to predict. It's not like McGregor Siver, for example. But I'll give Lawrence the edge, and it'll be interesting seeing how he does at 170, especially as you mentioned earlier that he has a win over the champion right now. So.
For sure.
Yep, totally agree. All right, well, I think we should just get some fight picks in, and then I think we could probably wrap it up. Just try to keep this short. I know all you viewers probably love hearing us talk, but we'll go ahead and let's get to some fight picks. We'll just do the main card here. I'll just kind of go around. First fight on the main card is Stormin Norman Park and the ultimate gatekeeper of the UFC's lightweight division, Gleison Tibau. Mr. Wells, who you got?
I think the gatekeeper is going to hold the key again. Tibau.
Cody.
Oh yeah, definitely Tibau. I think Park said that his judo and his wrestling is going to be good enough to counter Tibau's. I don't think that's happening. Norman's got a good judo background, good grappling background, but Gleison's a vet. He's been around the game for a long time, consistently at a top level. I don't see Park having enough knockout power to knock him out like Johnson was able to do, which was surprising enough in itself. I think it's going to be a 3-round decision for Gleison Tibau yet again.
Yep, total agreement here. I don't think Park will be able to get Gleison Tibau to the ground. Tibau's probably got the best wrestling of any Brazilian fighter I've seen that I can think off the top of my head. That I can think of right now. Tibau has very, very good wrestling and takedown defense. I recently rewatched his fight against Habib. Habib couldn't get him down. So, and we know how much of a beast he is. So, yeah, I agree. Tibau takes the win. He hovers right around that top 15 area, and he never really goes higher, but he never really drops because he's going to beat all the guys below him. So, I agree. Tibau wins the decision. Next fight is a late replacement, and props to Ron Stallings for stepping up, but that's tough, taking on Uriah Hall on like 8 days' notice. Yeah. Mr. Wells, who you got?
Yeah, about that. Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall. I think this one ends fairly early. I'll say that.
Cody.
I got Walt Harris. I got Rogers by second round TKO. Get ready for it. He's going to be getting dominated the whole fight, but he's going to come back in the second round, freak out everybody in the MMA community.
Okay.
I got $10 on it.
10 bones. All right. Yeah, I got Hall ending this one early too. I think it's. I heard some rumblings that there were some other fighters that they were looking into bringing in to fill in. No one of huge name, but I mean people that I think would have put up a better fight than Ron Stallings. I think Hall ends this one early, and I'd like to see him. I was looking forward to the original matchup, but I want to see Hall against I don't want to say a top-level guy, but I'd like to see him. I like the way they're progressing Uriah Hall right now. Don't give him too much too soon, because I think he's a solid prospect. You can, if you bring him up right, you can build around. So I agree. Uriah Hall gets this one done quickly. Next fight is the co-main, which we've kind of touched on. So we got Cowboy Cerrone. With his flame-throwing Budweisers on his hips against Benson Henderson, who has the largest thighs of any man I've ever seen, besides Bo Jackson. So, right. Matthew Wells, what do you think?
Oh man, this is such a tough one to pick on. I'm gonna say Benson simply for the fact that he had a full training camp coming into this well rested, ready to go.
Cody.
I'm a big Benson fan. I'm also a big Cowboy fan, but I'm a bigger Benson fan. However, I do not see Benson being able to take this one. I think Cowboy's intercepting knee as wrestlers or grapplers try to close the distance on him in his previous fights leading up to this one has shown. It's going to give him too much trouble. It did it with Alvarez. It did it with Jim Miller, and both times he was able to capitalize on keeping that distance. And I think that's going to be how Cerrone wins this fight. It's going to be a decision, but it's going to be a war. It's going to be a tough fight, but nonetheless, unanimous decision for Cowboy Cerrone.
Since they announced the fight a couple, 10 days ago, whenever it was, I've been on Benson Henderson for all the reasons that Matthew talked about. The fact that guys take short notice fights all the time. They don't take short notice fights against top 5 lightweights in the world, guys like Benson Henderson, former champions.
Yes.
But for some reason, I'm switching my pick. I'm taking Cerrone. I don't know why. I just think he's on a hot streak. He's got so much confidence about him right now, and I rewatched their first fight. It was super close. I could see it going either way. The second fight, Benson caught him in a great guillotine. That was 5 years ago, though. Yeah. And just going off their last couple performances, Cowboys look better. Maybe he hasn't fought the same level of competition, but Cowboys look better. So it could go either way. I could see Benson winning easily, but I think Cowboy's going to get it done. I don't know how, if it'll be a decision or if he'll catch him, but that's going to be fight of the night for sure, I think.
But he doesn't win by FU kicks, right?
No. Yeah, no FU kicks, because there's no way Henderson's running away like Miles Jury. Oh, Benson Henderson's a baller. I think he gets a lot of unnecessary hate online from people pissed off that he wins decisions, controversial decisions. So, all right, main event. I think all right, keep this one to 3 words. Main event, Matthew Wells, who wins?
The Notorious One.
Cody.
I think a better question is not who's going to win, but how is Conor McGregor going to win?
Can you do it? Can you do a Conor McGregor impression while you give your prediction?
No. Sorry, that's about the best Connor I could do right there. It's just him saying But no, I see this. You know what? I think this is going to be one of the last predictions Conor McGregor gets correct. Conor McGregor gets correct. And that's going to be. It's going to end in the first round. I don't see it in the first 2 minutes, but I do indeed see it in the first round. You know, I'm going to be as bold to say it's going to be the third minute of the fight. TKO. Front kick to the face for Conor McGregor.
That'd be pretty awesome. Tank me later, Siver. That's the best I got. So yeah, Connor wins by whatever he wants. I assume it'll be probably first couple minutes an exchange. He'll catch Siver. I'm more interested. This is terrible to say. I'm more interested in what happens after the fight. After presumably McGregor wins, what happens? Because Aldo's in Boston. Are they bringing him in the cage? Are they gonna try to announce the fight right there? Hey, we've got Croke Park booked in July, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That would be pretty wild.
I would bet on as soon as the interview is done in the cage that they start playing promos for Aldo versus McGregor. I'd imagine they already have a media.
They've got him drawn up.
They've got that ready.
All right, so there you have it. Those are our predictions. They're probably all right because we're super smart and talented and really humble too. So it was great. This is always really fun. We do this every night before, 2 nights before UFC event. So make sure you like and subscribe MMA Latest on Twitter, website MMALatestNews.com. Matthew Wells, thank you. Cody Bradley, thank you. Make sure to subscribe, share, do all that stuff so we can get better. Not sure if we've got do we have yeah. All right, yeah, we'll do this next week. We'll see you guys.
All right.